Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here to bring you a Flesh and Blood weekly market update. It's a pretty interesting week. A lot of heat, a lot of things moving upwards. It's a good week to be holding product, maybe selling product. That is up to you. And as always, no financial advice is given out here. I just realized this is not lined up. There we go. Now you can see the dates. All right, let us jump in. Unlimited boxes, ARK shot up 21.93%. Have to give a shout out to one of our commenters, pointed out that this 114 cooling off was actually a lie. Sorry. Basically, there was a $15 shipping fee, and I missed it. I didn't dive into that one, so just pointing that out so everyone knows this was actually a little bit upwards if you counted that. Not much, not significant, not a big deal. Noise in the market is noise in the market. We like to look at long-term trends. But this week it is up 21.93% to 139, so call it 10% instead based off that. Either way, it's upward trend. It has been for a while. We've watched it tick up for quite some time now, and we are at a new all-time high for ARK Unlimited. Crazy time. If you have those boxes, this is the time to start thinking about selling it. I don't know that I would move on it too quickly personally. I'm not moving on it too quickly. I'm going to take my time, but reality is these prices are getting pretty high. All right, moving on. Tales of Aria, 8.47% down to $54 a box. This is down with our lows, our historic lows, so it's a pretty good spot if you wanted to buy some Tales of Aria Unlimited. This is a reasonable time. I'm sure we'll see low prices again. There's probably a ton of Tales of Unlimited out there still. Eventually it will run out, but I just don't see it running out that quickly based on how much of first edition's out there, how much of the Unlimited is out there, and then how much people either draft or don't draft Tales of Aria type things. And then, of course, the popularity of the heroes. While they're still popular, there's just very limited cross use, right? Like you don't see multiple lightning heroes. You don't see, I guess you do see multiple ice heroes, so that is actually probably helping them a little bit. And they're both in the meta, but you got to think about it. You know, it's not an ice all box or all ice box, excuse me. It's just a box that has elemental stuff in it. It may or may not be beneficial to different heroes. For the most part, it's focused on those 3, 4 with Icelander included. All right, moving on. WTR 5.54% up to 419. This is an unlimited case we're talking about here. So it has moved up pretty dramatically over the course of the last 2 or 3 months, right? Looking back here, 359 was like the high back then. Before that, we were down in the 270s, and now we're at 419. Kind of crazy to see this movement happen over time. It's really cool. It shows that the game is very popular, the product's very popular, and despite the Welcome to Wraith event, or Farewell to Wraith event that printed more boxes, or at least released more boxes to the public, it's holding up. It's a good product. It has a lot of heroes that people love and care for, and it's a good draft as well. Anyways, moving on. ARK Unlimited cases up 4.01% for an honorable mention at 519. Holy crap. That is high. 519 is I would say the highest unlimited product price we've ever seen. Question mark. Anyone remember it being higher? I don't remember it being higher for a case ever. I could be wrong. There might have been one instance or two. Either way, crazy high. Yeah, that is nuts. Same thing with the ARK boxes. It's just, we'll see if this is at parity or what when we look at the charts. But yeah, that's crazy. All right, Mon Unlimited case up to 248 from 223. This is just bouncing around in the same range. It's 11.21% up, but it came back from the 223, where it was at 248 before, 223, right? It's just bouncing back and forth in this range. We'll take a look at the chart to see if there's anything we can draw upon this, but remember, we do see these chaotic channels right before this next leg up, the next step on the stairs, as you will, or if you will, and so we'll keep an eye out for that. That's bound to happen eventually. It just doesn't look like it's there yet. All right, moving on to first edition. Mon first edition boxes are up 45.87% to 159 from 109. It's been creeping up, right? So we were at these 80s, and I was like, this is crazy low for first edition box. Then it moved to the hundreds, and we're like, okay, we're getting to range now, right? And then creeped up a little bit more, and now it's spiked up. This will probably retrace a little bit, question mark though, because we do have the new set coming out that's going to be featuring light and dark. These boxes with first edition and cold foil, I think we're finally hitting kind of that equilibrium between price and supply, or supply and demand into the price. So I do think that we'll see these climb up over time as we get closer to Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know if that happens right now. If it happens over the next few months as people get kind of tired of outsider drafting and they start thinking about the new supplemental set, I don't know exactly. We won't know until we see it, and we have seen much, much higher prices on these products in the past. So just keep that in mind. But it is up there. Let's see. Oops. Well, I guess not since I've been tracking. Huh. Okay. Well, historically, I know Mon boxes, and many of you that have been around know that as well, went for like $400. It was insane times during the spike, but that was probably before I started tracking. So just so you can see, we are at kind of my historic high, though. That's pretty interesting. Huh. I would have thought it was higher, but I guess that all happened before I started tracking. All right, Everfest, moving on, down 4.92% for a dishonorable mention. I don't know. I guess that's what we'll call it. Down to 58. Nothing really crazy. We've seen it bounce around this channel for a while, so not really worth talking about. Moving on to first edition cases. Same as always on these first two. They're out of supply, so I'm just keeping them flat. I know this isn't the list price that's on TCG Player anymore. I don't know how that gets calculated, but it's changed even though there's been no sales. Whatever. Point being, we don't have new data, not worth talking about. Monarch first edition cases up 22.07% to 542. Very similar to what we saw up in the boxes. I will look at the charts to see if it's at parity or what, if we have an ARB opportunity. But I think it's the same thing. It's the hype around Dusk Till Dawn and that sort of thing. I wonder if cases were high when we go way back here. Yeah, they were at 700 back at this period. So the cases held up for longer than the boxes. The boxes kind of collapsed on their own, and then the cases followed slowly after. So yeah, we've seen higher cases. We have not seen higher boxes, at least since I've been tracking. Obviously, we did see them in the market. I think many people bought from Rudy for, I don't know, was it like 400 a box? It was a lot. Maybe it's 250 or something. It was a lot for a box. And they bought a case of it. It was during the big bubble. Everyone was doing it. Like everyone was charging those kinds of amounts. So it wasn't unusual or like, crazy, but it was a thing that was happening at the time. Now we look back with market information about the supply and whatnot, and we realize that was insane and we never should have done that. But hey, that's how markets work. Information enters the market, affects price. Moving on, Tales of Aria first edition cases up 11.32% to 295 from 265. Again, bouncing in a channel, not much to talk about there. We've seen that a bunch with Tales. Tales is the chart that just is crazy. All right, Outsiders is finally added. You'll note the limited data, but it is here. The chart will look goofy. It does show up, though. It's down 10.39% off of last week's high of 385. I don't really count this as anything. This is week one. So it's always going to be a little volatile at first. We'll see how the pattern shapes up. It was kind of cool to see it hype. This is a classic TCG release hype bubble. Happens in pre-release, and that's a very positive thing for the market in general. But it is now down to map, actually below map in this case, but that's it looks like it's a non-direct, non-verified seller, so I'm guessing it's just some individual that has some extra boxes. I hope that's what it is. It won't last long. Anyone that's a retail shop will get yelled at by LSS if they sell below map, so it'll go back to map very quickly. In fact, by the time you see this, it's probably already gone and is at 351, which is map currently. All right, moving on to unlimited box charts, or I guess charts in general, boxes and cases. All right, WTR, we see the premium is intact, nothing crazy there. Move on to ARC. ARC, we do have a slight ARB opportunity, 129, about $10. Actually, that's not bad for unlimited box. So we have a $10 ARB opportunity. Really what this says to me is if you are interested in riding whatever this wave is, now is a decent time to pick up a case because your case value per box, like worst case scenario, you can crack it if it stays kind of at this, if it just stabilized right here, you could crack it and sell it, make $10 a box. Best case scenario is you will see these case prices follow suit because you'll note, like, oh, here, let me scroll down a little bit. You'll note, see, the box price goes up. The case price actually dipped at that point. The box price dipped a little bit, but then it pushed upwards. Case follows, right? It dropped and then it went up. You know, you could say that the case is leading, but I really do think it's the boxes that are leading it, and they have the pressure on them. People are buying the boxes. It makes sense. Individuals want a single box. They want to crack it, get the cold foils, etc. And it is, you know, the price of the cases are following suit. That's the way I look at it. I could be wrong, but that's what I expect is happening with this, and we will probably see it play out further as the market continues to mature and people can't get those products anymore. History Pack 1 is going to be the only option for ARC-based products going forward, I believe, unless they do some sort of new wave reprint stuff they haven't talked about. You know, we have no information on anything else. So, Crew, nice and steady. So I think we talked about this back here. Spikes up, settles down, flatlines, new high, right? That's where we're at. And it's very healthy if you see it above, if the new line is like above the top of the old line, right? So when we didn't have this data, this was a little bit taller because of the way the charts size based on distance from top to bottom, right? So it was like hump, hump, little hump. Then it shot up and it looked like it was going off the map here, right? And now it's settled down. We've settled into this new spot. It's one of those things you look back and you say, okay, what was the previous high? If you're settled right at the previous high, that's a very healthy move, just that little bit of a jump. We jumped way up and we settled at new high. So this is very cool demonstration of how supply demand works on these boxes and how we're getting to that situation with several of them. I expect to see charts like this on the first 3 sets frequently. This is the time where that's going to start happening. And it's purely based on how much supply is in the market and demand. Like I believe WTR Unlimited probably has more supply than Crew Unlimited because Crew Unlimited, I don't think they were even going to print. By the way, shout out to the commenter who pointed out that we do not have print numbers on Unlimited. They didn't release them after a certain period for that just because I guess they were too high or whatever. I don't know. They never released that information. So we do not know about that, which is interesting. I kind of wish we did now that we're at a point where the prices are rising, but I don't know. Maybe they just don't want to impact the markets. Makes sense. Anyways, we do have a slight ARB opportunity here. It's about $14. That's not bad at all. That's like you can make money on a case if you sell, crack a case, sell the boxes. I do expect that the box price will rise above the case price eventually. It does seem like, it looks like the boxes are leading. Yeah, boxes are leading the case. It does, at least it looks like in this case. We'll see. Maybe it settles down, then cases might come back down. I don't know. We'll see. That's pretty interesting, though. Crew, what do we got here? Okay, Monarch is nuts. Yeah, this is just wild. Okay, so I think this is just hype, right? Because we're seeing, so it is in a channel like we talked about. It is a step up, right, from where it was before. So that's good. I mean, it does seem like it did a positive, supply isn't as high as it used to be sort of step. And then we see the box following the case divided by 4. Yeah, I think that, it's just a healthy market following the suit of the new hype and the lack of supply. I think the supply is finally running out, actually, of Mon Unlimited. That is surprising, I will say. Tales of Aria off a cliff. I don't think that was a new map. I think it's just always chaotic. Yeah, we can never derive anything from this one. It's sorry, someday it will eventually settle out and be more like all the other ones, but I don't know when that day is. It'll be a while from now. Mon First Edition. Nope, that's not. We don't want to start on Mon. Let's start on Crew because WTR and ARC are no change. Yeah, Crew up. Yeah, this is a step chart that we always talk about, and this is a very quick one, but very healthy look. And this is Crew being recognized as way undervalued, which it was for a while. This is probably closer to its market value because it's had a couple of chances to retrace, had a couple of chances to shoot higher, and it's settling. So I think we'll see it settle here for a while unless there's new issue getting supply. Like if they just start running out, if people start counting the TCG player sale possibilities and there's dozens instead of hundreds or whatever available, then yeah, people are gonna be like, oh, this thing's gone, and then it spikes again. We see the box price follow suit, same sort of step pattern, a little bit of a retrace there. All good, all healthy, pretty interesting. Not much to report on there. Premium is intact. Monarch now, we see this crazy shooting up that's happening. It's just continuing. It's accelerated, in fact. And there is a bit of an ARB opportunity. I'm a little surprised about that, considering how much this is hype-driven. It's not letting me see. Well, I can see it down here. Where is it? Okay, 135 and 159. So yeah, that's a very healthy ARB opportunity. So this is 159. Oh, there we go. Now you can see it. Wow. So that's $25 a box if you crack a case. Yeah, that's a good buy. That's a good buy to crack and sell the boxes, assuming this doesn't collapse immediately. It's just a good buy. I mean, that's just math. Cool. Tales of Aria Insanity. Enough said. Why is it always insane? I don't get it. Everfest. We did have a little insanity, and Everfest settled and stepped up. You could probably call this noise in the market. Hell, maybe I even missed some shipping or something on here, and this is actually just here. That's quite possible. That's what happened on Everfest. And then it's just a straight step function, right? Yeah, sorry if that's what happened back then. That might be the case. Yeah, so we do not have ARB opportunity. This is intact. The box prices are actually very reasonable. I know there's some heat in Everfest for what people are looking at building right now. I've heard it in several of the meta channels, so I assume that will continue to have upward pressure. Uprising, it is falling off, but that's just last draft set getting dumped off of shelves. Nothing crazy there. Let's see. ARB opportunity is $6. $5.25 actually. Not terrible, but not great considering the price points you're talking about here. You're down at maps, so you don't have wiggle room at all. Dynasty, very steady Eddie. This is an interesting curve for Dynasty. Supplemental set. We should look at these up and rises and drops sort of things. The spike might be madness. Again, I could have missed something. This may have been, plus $10 shipping or whatever, and put it here, kind of making this another lump instead. So I'll try to check on that more often. I never had to before because it was only Pokemon that had that issue, but it is clearly something that has happened with Flesh and Blood, and I should keep an eye on that. I did check this time, so try to keep doing that. We do have a slight ARB opportunity of $2. Nothing too special there, but just figured I'd point that out. Really quick, because Tommy and I are doing individual cards on a separate thing, I did want to point out what's going on in this market. Frailty is still high. It's a very powerful card. Look out for ban. Everyone's saying it. I think it's possible. Premeditate, I think, is good in multiple decks, not just Azalea, but Azalea being top meta right now is really interesting, and thus that's hype. Codex of Frailty in its Marvel format, I do believe this will hold up and be kind of a Surya sort of card for the set, just because it's a powerful card. If it gets banned, it would drop, right? But I don't think it would drop too terribly far. I think 300, 200, something like that. The least liked one is 190. I feel like this is a reasonable price. Is 200 and below is going to be the Marvel price, because these are pretty rare. Just from my experience opening, from what we've seen in stats, they're pretty rare. The extended arts are also pretty rare and pretty interesting. I think this price range, 200 to 300 is where they'll be mostly. You'll have the post-release dip that's guaranteed, so that's probably a good time to pick up things that you really want for the shelf. I've already picked up this. I thought it was a good deal at 300, so I did get it. So it's just one of those things. Like, if there's certain stuff you want, I think the rare ones are gonna stay attractive to collectors, and we have seen buyout after buyout after buyout in the rainbow foils and the collectible stuff. So I just, because that's the current market situation, I expect that it will be hard to see later discounts. But there are plenty of these. There's plenty of boxes to open. You have 6 months of this draft. Just be aware the prices will come down first before they go up. So, do what you will with your own money. Obviously, no financial advice here, but it is one of those things that, versus the last set and missing out on Surya because the price just went too high. The Emperor at $1,000, I never even considered getting. But there's certain things that there were times where I could have bought it during the time of that set that probably would have made more sense. And so I'm adjusting my strategy and not buying everything at the end. I'm doing a bit of a mix based on what I think will be demanded by collectors. I did want to point this one out, Give and Take. I think it's an interesting card. It has some value. I did a meta tech, deck tech on it. People were looking at it for other things, not what I said. I was pointed out in the comments that my idea wouldn't work anyways. So that's cool. It's good. I appreciate the comment and feedback. Very interesting. Sparked up a bunch of discussion in our Discord. By the way, if you want to join our Discord, hit the Patreon link below. Even $1 will get you in there. So come join the conversations with us. But I wanted to talk about this card because we are seeing some weird price movement. I do expect, and this is definitely not for me, we do not have this kind of reach, but the number of sales on the 29th, I think this is some trick in some deck and word got out, because that is a lot of sales in one day, and they're like play sets. So I think maybe someone released some Azalea deck tech or something. I don't know where this fits, but I'm guessing based on this sale history, I saw this happening. I was like, whoa, that's nuts. Based on this sale history, I have a feeling that there's something going on with this card. It's really cool. It's an interesting mechanic, and it feels like it could be a powerhouse in the right deck. There are 6 rainbow foil listings. When I looked at it last, there's only like 1. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, they're down to $10. This is intriguing because the rainbow foil is selling for the same price as the non. Interesting. Okay, so it's not a collector buyout, that's for sure. Because this would be higher. These would be gone if it was a collector type buyout. This is a play buyout. So someone, I don't know, there must be some deck tech out there. It's not mine, I'll tell you that, because I got that wrong. Anyways, if you like the content, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let us know what you think about our takes and my takes on this case. We are going to do a card by card situation with Tommy. I think that's going to start on Mondays instead of Tuesdays. We have some scheduling conflicts. So I think that's how we're going to do it going forward. I hope you guys are out there cracking packs in this new set, playing new draft. Yes, we get to do it today. Playing your favorite decks and heroes and having fun playing this game and enjoying this hobby that we love. And until next time, have a good one.